Tesla's Cybercab V001 prototypes are everywhere in Austin right now. Downtown, highways, next to Waymos. But here's the shocker. When San Francisco's massive power outage killed traffic lights across 1/3 of the city, Waymo's fleet completely froze. Over 7,000 dark signals. Vehicles stuck at intersections waiting for remote confirmation that never came. Meanwhile, Tesla's autonomous cars, they kept driving. No remote operators needed. So what's Tesla doing differently that Waymo, with all their sensors and infrastructure, can't figure out? Let's talk about what really went down in San Francisco, because honestly, this is the kind of situation that reveals everything about how autonomous systems actually work when things go sideways. PG&E's power outage didn't just knock out a few streetlights. We're talking about 1/3 of San Francisco going dark. Over 7,000 traffic signals just dead. And here's where it gets fascinating in the worst possible way for Waymo. Their vehicles did exactly what they were programmed to do. Dark signal? Treat it as a four-way stop. Sounds reasonable, right? Except their cars didn't just stop, look, and proceed like a human driver would. They stopped and waited. And waited. Why? Because they were requesting remote confirmation from human operators before moving through each intersection. Imagine that for a second. Thousands of intersections, hundreds of Waymo vehicles, all of them essentially raising their hands asking, "Can I go now? Can I go now?" to operators who were completely overwhelmed. Waymo admitted this themselves. They had to pause service, tell vehicles to pull over, and bring them back to depots in waves just to stop making the gridlock worse. This wasn't some minor technical glitch. This was their entire operational philosophy collapsing under real-world stress. And you know what the cruel irony is? For years, critics have torn into Tesla for keeping safety drivers in their cars during testing, calling it proof that their autonomy isn't real. But here's Waymo, supposedly years ahead, and their cars literally can't make a four-way stop decision without calling home for permission. Meanwhile, Elon casually mentioned that Tesla's autonomous vehicles handled the same outage without breaking a sweat. Now sure, Tesla's cars still have safety monitors in San Francisco because of regulations. But here's the thing that matters. The AI itself navigated those dead intersections. The person in the driver's seat wasn't steering through every intersection. They were there for legal compliance and just-in-case scenarios. That's fundamentally different from a system that requires remote operators to approve every decision. And this brings us to something I find genuinely interesting about Tesla's approach versus everyone else's. Tesla's logged over 7 billion miles now with FSD supervised. That's not just a big number to throw around. That's 7 billion miles of weird intersections, jaywalking pedestrians, drivers doing stupid things, construction zones popping up overnight, emergency vehicles appearing out of nowhere. Every bizarre edge case you can imagine multiplied across millions of drives. The neural network learns from all of it. It's messy, it's imperfect at first, but it's real-world education at a scale nobody else has. Waymo went the opposite direction. Perfect sensors, detailed maps, controlled environments, remote oversight as backup. And when the infrastructure they depend on disappeared, system failure. I'm not saying their approach is wrong. It works beautifully in normal conditions. But the San Francisco blackout exposed a vulnerability that makes you wonder, which system do you trust more when things go wrong? The one trained on billions of messy real-world miles, or the one that needs everything to be just right? Now let's shift to what's happening in Austin, because the streets there are basically becoming a cybercab showcase right now. These V001 engineering prototypes are everywhere. Downtown, highways, literally passing Waymo vehicles in traffic, which has to feel like some kind of symbolic moment. You can see in the videos that there are still hands on steering wheels. These are validation builds with safety drivers. But the volume is what catches your attention. This isn't a couple test vehicles. This is fleet-level validation happening in plain sight. And there's a big difference between testing and validation that I think gets lost sometimes. Testing is when you're still figuring things out, trying different approaches, finding problems. Validation is when you've locked in the design and you're just confirming it works before you start building thousands of them. The fact that Tesla's running V001 prototypes, engineering version 1, in this kind of volume suggests they're way past the "will this work" phase. They're in the confirming this works before production phase. That's a completely different stage of development. Look at the vehicle itself too. No steering wheel in the final version. No pedals. Just 2 seats and those butterfly doors. It's smaller than most cars on the road, which honestly makes perfect sense even though it might not seem like it at first. Think about urban environments like Shanghai or Manhattan. A compact 2-seater can navigate tighter spaces, park easier, and operate more efficiently than a 5-seat SUV driving around with empty seats most of the time. The economics of urban RoboTaxi service actually favor smaller vehicles, not larger ones. This connects directly to what Tesla's doing in China, and it's not subtle. They're hiring low-voltage electrical engineers in Shanghai specifically for circuit board design on autonomous vehicles. The job posting literally calls it the nervous system for RoboTaxi electronics. When companies start using that kind of language and hiring manufacturing engineers instead of research scientists, they're not exploring concepts anymore. They're building production lines. And Tesla showcased the Cybercab at a major Shanghai expo recently, which tells you they're serious about the Chinese market. The regulatory environment there might actually move faster than the US, and the urban density creates perfect conditions for small, autonomous vehicles. But here's what impressed me more than the technology itself. Tesla's already thinking through the unglamorous operational realities of running a driverless fleet. They've implemented cleaning fees, $50 for food spills and dirt, $150 for bodily waste or smoking. That $150 fee honestly seems low. Anyone who's dealt with professional vehicle cleaning knows severe messes cost way more. But the point isn't the fee amount. The point is Tesla's already solving the practical question of, how do you keep vehicles clean when there's no driver? The answer is cameras, AI monitoring, and financial consequences for bad behavior. It's not sexy, but it's the kind of operational thinking that makes or breaks a real business. Same thing with accessibility features. Tesla's RoboTaxi website specifically mentions space for service animals, wheelchair storage, and the app being available in 29 languages with more coming. Most people probably skim past that section, but in the US, ADA compliance isn't optional for transportation services. By building accessibility into the design from day one, instead of retrofitting later, Tesla's eliminating regulatory obstacles before they even appear. Waymo learned this the hard way with modifications after deployment. Tesla's doing their homework up front. The hiring surge tells you where they are on the timeline too. About 110 open positions for Optimus, plus RoboTaxi-specific roles across Palo Alto, Texas, and expansion markets like Ohio. These aren't algorithm research positions. They're production engineering, manufacturing operations, quality control. The video on Tesla's careers website shows Cybercab testing, Optimus assembly, crash testing, cell manufacturing. This is the visual language of scaling, not experimenting. Companies don't hire manufacturing engineers when they're still figuring out if something works. They hire them when they're getting ready to build thousands of units. FSD is also converging towards something specific. Elon mentioned version 14.3 should theoretically let you fall asleep while the car drives. Right now they're at 14.2.2.2, 3 decimal places deep in bug fixes. Whether they hit 14.3 or 14.2.2.15 first doesn't really matter. What matters is the pattern. Versions are getting smaller and more focused, which usually means a system approaching production readiness rather than one still in major development. And internationally, rollout is accelerating. South Korea just got FSD version 14 for Cybertruck. 6 countries now have access. That's not the pattern of a company struggling with fundamentals. But let's be honest about the elephant in the room. Can Tesla actually deliver production Cyberabs by late April 2026? That's roughly 122 days away. Tesla's missed deadlines before, sometimes by years. Skepticism is completely warranted, but several things are different this time. V001 prototypes are already on public roads in volume. Production hiring is ramping. Business model details are published and operational. Regulatory groundwork is advancing in multiple markets. These aren't the characteristics of vaporware. There's also something strategic about flooding Austin streets with prototypes right now. Tesla could test privately. They could wait until closer to launch. Instead, they're creating maximum public visibility. Austin is their headquarters city. Local government relationships are strongest there. Every video, every photo, every social media post normalizes these vehicles before official launch. When regulatory discussions happen, public acceptance is already established. That's not accidental. That's calculated market preparation. What we're really witnessing here is 2 competing philosophies getting stress tested in real time. Waymo's approach: perfect sensors, detailed maps, infrastructure integration, remote human oversight as safety net. Tesla's approach: accept initial imperfection, but train AI on billions of real-world miles to handle anything independently. San Francisco's blackout wasn't just bad luck for Waymo, it was a referendum on which philosophy is more robust when everything goes wrong. And honestly, the results speak for themselves. So here's the answer to what Tesla has that Waymo doesn't: true autonomy that doesn't collapse when infrastructure fails. When San Francisco went dark, Waymo's fleet froze because it needed remote operators to approve every move. Tesla's AI kept driving because 7 billion real-world miles taught it to handle chaos independently. That's not just a technical difference. That's the difference between a system ready to scale and one that isn't. The V001 prototypes flooding Austin streets right now aren't coincidence. Tesla's validating production readiness. The hiring surge, the operational details, the international expansion, everything points to late April 2026 being real. If they deliver, we're witnessing the moment autonomous transportation shifts from concept to reality. And the ripple effects? Lower transportation costs, reshaped cities, new mobility options for millions. This isn't just about RoboTaxis. This is about redefining how humans move. What do you think? Can Tesla actually hit that April deadline? Or are we looking at another delay? Drop your prediction in the comments below. If this breakdown gave you clarity on where autonomous driving is really headed, hit that like button. Subscribe to Tesla Zone and turn on notifications so you catch every update as this story unfolds. We're tracking every development, every prototype sighting, every regulatory shift. This is Tesla Zone, and we're just getting started. The future of transportation is being built right now, and you're watching it happen in real time.